The rain hammered against the windows of our Seattle home, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. For the past few weeks, maybe even months, a gnawing unease had settled in my gut. My wife, Giselle, a vibrant and successful architect, had become distant. Her laughter, once a constant melody in our lives, had faded to a muted echo. I'm Florent, a 44-year-old IT specialist, and until recently I thought I had it all: a loving wife, a comfortable home, and a life filled with shared dreams. Now those dreams felt like shattered glass under my feet. Giselle's late nights at the office had become increasingly frequent. "A big project," she'd explain, her eyes darting away from mine. I wanted to believe her. I truly did. But the subtle shift in her behavior, the guarded phone calls, the password-protected phone, the way she flinched when I touched her, screamed otherwise. I tried to dismiss it as stress, a temporary phase. Maybe I was just being paranoid. Maybe I was suffocating her. But deep down, a cold dread was taking root. One evening, while Giselle was supposedly at a design conference in Portland, I decided to surprise her with flowers. I knew the hotel she was staying at, a swanky place downtown. I envisioned her surprised face, the warmth returning to her eyes. Foolish, wasn't I? I drove down to Portland, my heart filled with a naive hope. The hotel concierge confirmed Giselle was indeed checked in. "Room 608, he said with a polite smile. I thanked him and made my way to the elevators, a bouquet of lilies clutched in my hand. As I approached room 608, I could hear muffled voices from inside. A woman's voice, definitely Giselle's, and a man's. A wave of nausea washed over me. My hand trembled as I raised it to knock, but I couldn't. I stood there frozen, listening to the intimate murmur of their voices, the occasional burst of laughter, the unmistakable sounds of passion. The lilies slipped from my grasp, scattering across the hallway floor. I stumbled back, my vision blurring with tears. The world tilted on its axis, and I felt like I was falling into an abyss. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. The pain was too raw, too overwhelming. I drove back to Seattle in a daze, the rain blurring the city lights into streaks of neon. I spent the night on the couch, staring at the ceiling, replaying the scene in my head, each replay twisting the knife deeper. How could she do this? How could she betray me so callously? The next morning, Giselle arrived home, looking tired but composed. "How was the conference?" I asked, my voice betraying none of the turmoil inside me. "It was good," she replied, avoiding my gaze. "Long hours, but productive." The lies flowed so easily from her lips. It was sickening. I wanted to scream, to lash out, to demand an explanation. But I held back. I needed to gather my thoughts, to formulate a plan. Over the next few days, I became a ghost in my own home. I watched Giselle, studied her every move, searching for any sign of remorse, any flicker of guilt. But there was nothing. She continued her charade, pretending everything was normal. It was infuriating. I confided in my best friend, Cillian, a pragmatic and level-headed lawyer. He listened patiently, offering words of support and advice. "You need proof, Florent," he said. "You can't confront her without solid evidence. Get a private investigator." I hesitated. The thought of hiring a PI felt like an invasion of privacy, a step too far. But Cillian was right. I needed to know the truth, no matter how painful. He recommended a reputable investigator named Bronte. I met with her, a sharp and efficient woman with a no-nonsense attitude. I told her everything, my voice cracking with emotion. She listened intently, taking notes, her expression impassive. "I'll get you the evidence you need, Florent," she said. "Just give me a week." The week that followed was an agonizing blur. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was consumed by anxiety and anger. I imagined all sorts of scenarios, each more devastating than the last. Finally, Bronte called. "I have something for you," she said, her voice serious. "Meet me at my office tomorrow morning." I arrived at Bronte's office, my heart pounding in my chest. She handed me a thick envelope filled with photographs and documents. I opened it with trembling hands. The photographs were damning. Giselle and a man I recognized as her colleague, Cillian, were captured in various compromising situations, holding hands, kissing, entering a hotel room. The documents were even more revealing. Hotel bills, restaurant receipts, even emails exchanged between them, filled with explicit messages of love and desire. The evidence was irrefutable. The rage that surged through me was unlike anything I had ever experienced. I wanted to destroy something, to hurt someone, but I knew that wouldn't solve anything. I needed to be smart, to be strategic. I thanked Bronte and left her office, my mind racing. I drove home, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly that my knuckles turned white. I walked into the house where Giselle was waiting for me, a serene smile on her face. "How was your meeting?" she asked, her voice sweet and innocent. "It was enlightening," I replied, my voice cold and hard. I tossed the envelope onto the table. "Take a look." Giselle's smile faltered. She picked up the envelope, her eyes widening as she recognized the contents. She slowly opened it, her face paling as she saw the photographs. "Florent," she stammered, her voice trembling. "Don't," I interrupted, my voice cutting through the air like a shard of ice. "Just don't." "I can explain," she pleaded, tears welling up in her eyes. "There's nothing to explain," I said. "I saw you, Giselle, in Portland with him." She sank into a chair, her face buried in her hands. "It was a mistake," she sobbed. "It didn't mean anything." "A mistake," I repeated, my voice laced with sarcasm. "A mistake that you've been making for months, apparently. A mistake that involved secret phone calls, lies, and betrayal. I'm so sorry," she cried. "I love you, Florent. Please forgive me." I looked at her, at the woman I had loved and trusted, the woman who had so callously betrayed me, and I felt nothing. The love was gone, replaced by a cold emptiness. "I can't," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "I can't forgive you, Giselle. It's over." The next few weeks were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and bitter arguments. Giselle tried everything to win me back. Tears, apologies, promises of change, but I was unmoved. The trust was broken irrevocably. I filed for divorce and she didn't contest it. The divorce was finalized quickly and efficiently. I wanted nothing more than to be rid of her. As I was packing my things to move out of the house we had shared, I stumbled upon a small, locked box hidden in the back of Giselle's closet. Curiosity piqued. I forced it open. Inside, I found a collection of letters, all addressed to Giselle from Cillian. The letters were filled with passionate declarations of love, explicit details of their affair, and a plan. A plan to leave me, to start a new life together, to take my money. They had been plotting against me all along. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. It wasn't just a momentary lapse of judgment, a simple affair. It was a calculated, premeditated act of betrayal. The anger that had been simmering inside me erupted into a raging inferno. I felt like I had been played for a fool, manipulated and used by the two people I had trusted most. I knew I couldn't let them get away with it. I couldn't let them profit from their deceit. I needed to take action, to seek justice. I contacted Cillian again, my voice trembling with rage. "I need your help, Cillian," I said. "I need to make them pay." Cillian listened patiently, his voice calm and reassuring. "Tell me everything, Florent," he said. "We'll figure something out." Together, Cillian and I devised a plan to expose Giselle and Cillian, to ruin their reputations, to take back what they had stolen from me. It was a risky plan, but I was determined to see it through. I started by gathering evidence, documenting their scheme in meticulous detail. I collected emails, financial records, and witness statements. I left no stone unturned. Then I leaked the information to Giselle's architecture firm and Cillian's company. The fallout was immediate and devastating. Giselle was fired from her job, her reputation in tatters. Cillian was also terminated, his career in ruins. Their affair became public knowledge, the subject of gossip and scorn, but that wasn't enough. I wanted to hit them where it hurt the most, their wallets. I sued Giselle for breach of contract, claiming that she had violated the terms of our marriage agreement by engaging in an affair and plotting to steal my assets. I also sued Cillian for alienation of affection, a tort that allows a spouse to sue a third party for interfering with their marriage. The lawsuits dragged on for months, but in the end, I prevailed. Giselle was ordered to pay me a significant sum of money in damages, and Cillian was also held liable for his role in the affair. They were both financially ruined, their lives in shambles. I know some people might say that my actions were excessive, that I should have just walked away and moved on, but I couldn't. I needed to hold them accountable for their actions, to make them understand the consequences of their betrayal. And in the end, I succeeded. It's been a year since the divorce was finalized. I've moved on with my life, focusing on my career and my friends. I'm still healing, still learning to trust again. But I'm stronger now, more resilient. I've learned that even the deepest betrayals can be overcome, that even the most devastating heartbreaks can be survived. Cell and Kellen, on the other hand, are living a shadow of their former lives. They're ostracized by their former colleagues, shunned by their families, and haunted by their past. They got what they deserved. And while revenge may not be the most noble of pursuits, in this case, it brought me a sense of closure, a sense of justice. It allowed me to finally put the past behind me and move forward with my life. I hope my story serves as a cautionary tale to anyone contemplating infidelity. The consequences can be devastating, not just for the betrayed spouse, but for the cheater as well. One evening some months later, Cillian called me up. "Florent, fancy a trip?" he asked with a chuckle. "I know a great little spot in the Bahamas. Sun, sea, sand, and absolutely no architects." I laughed, a genuine, heartfelt laugh, the first in a long time. "I'll pack my bags," I said. As I hung up, I looked out at the Seattle skyline, the rain clouds parting to reveal a sliver of blue sky. A new chapter was beginning. A chapter free from deceit, betrayal, and heartbreak. A chapter filled with hope, healing, and the promise of a brighter future.